Okay, guys, so you got my top worst games of the year, top best games of the year, but now we're going to do a list that I love to do because I love going to the movies like every week and wasting my money. So, we're doing the top 5, each of us, movies of the year, meaning that we each have 5, not that we're just going to choose 5 and then argue about it. So, the top 5 movies of the year we're about to list, but first, I have a special guest who's actually kind of been on more videos than not lately. It's going to be Nick Pell, and Nick, you could...
So yeah, like James said, my name is Nick Pell. My channel is NDP Games. I've been mainly doing movie reviews recently. And yeah, I've seen 100 movies this year, so go check out my reviews and yeah, check out my own top 10 list. We're going to go over the top 5 movies of the year for both of us here. But yeah, go check out my top 10 movies of the year list there at that channel.
Holy shit, 100, oh my god, that's a lot of movies.
Yeah,
okay.
Hateful Eight was number 100, so...
Oh, wow. All right, number 5 for me, and this was really tough. These are hard to put in order, but I'm going to go with Spotlight. It took me a little while to pick this one. Originally, I had other movies on this spot, like The Martian and Dope, and I love both of those movies. But Spotlight kind of, when a movie makes me think after the movie, it means something to me. So, besides just the performances being great and especially a standout scene, the movie itself had a very strong message, and I love history. I love learning about a situation and getting really deep into it, and that's exactly what Spotlight does. It goes deep into that investigation of the Catholic Church and the rape and all that, and it's definitely a movie that's not easy just to sit there and watch, but when you walk out, you feel like, wow, now I actually know the story behind all that.
All right, yeah, I agree. Spotlight is a really good movie. I saw it, I loved it. It is on my top 10 list. Not my number 5 though. My number 5 film is actually Mockingjay Part 2. I read the whole I read the whole Hunger Games trilogy way back a couple summers ago. Loved it, and so knowing what to expect with Mockingjay Part 2, it's the climax. It's the war scene. We have Katniss Lee and the rebels against the Capitol, led by Snow, and it's this huge confrontation. It's a basically citywide version of the Hunger Games itself, and I absolutely really, really love this movie. A lot more than some critics did. It might have its slow parts, but I was invested into the whole experience, and Jennifer Lawrence gives an outstanding performance as usual. And yeah, Mockingjay Part 2, my number 5 choice.
Number 4, and this one was easy to put because I really enjoyed it, and it has 4 members, so Straight Outta Compton. It's an entertaining superhero movie about 4 young people who meet up and become one of the biggest superhero groups of all time, NWA, and they fight crime by, invading your ears with beautiful, relentless music that just is like the greatest music of that time. And, it's about rivalry and betrayal, and it is a very good movie. But what I loved about it is something that most critics seem to not like, is the fact that you really get a good look at the music industry and how fucked up it is. So on top of that, great performances, good music that I grew up on. I loved Straight Outta Compton, best superhero movie of the year.
I love the fact that you're calling it a superhero movie because
it feels so much like a superhero movie when you think about it.
Yeah, I agree. Straight Outta Compton, very good film. It did not make my top 10 list, however.
Oh, wow, we really do have a different...
Yes, we do. Number 4 is actually a film that I did not enjoy as much initially upon the first viewing, but when I saw it a second time, I absolutely loved it. That's Star Wars The Force Awakens. Yeah, this is a film that virtually everyone is loving, maybe more than they probably should be. But yeah, Star Wars Force Awakens, fantastic performances. Daisy Ridley, she delivers a fantastic lead role, and I'm very curious to see where the 7th installment brings the franchise. It reinvigorated the franchise from the prequels, and I think J.J. Abrams just jump-started another series just like he did Star Trek. And yeah, Force Awakens is a film that I want to go back and see a third time.
Number 3 is a movie nobody's seen, so that's why it's on my list, because I love this movie. The Gift. The ending to this movie, it still leaves me kind of like just almost like upset. Like you leave the movie and you're like, fuck. And then you kind of think about your own life and like, were you a piece of shit in life? Did you treat other people wrongly? Besides the message of the movie, it's very well performed. All the actors and actresses give it their all, and they play characters you normally don't see them play, which I also found really entertaining. It's a perfect pace movie. It never is boring. It kind of gives a kind of like this psycho, like Hitchcock feel of some scares. And overall, it's just a great movie with a strong message, and it is one movie I probably will never forget and nobody watch, and that makes me so fucking upset and mad I want to punch someone.
Number 3 choice is a film which just came out, and it was the last film I reviewed this year, and that is The Hateful Eight. This is Quentin Tarantino's 8th film. It is generally about 8 strangers in a cabin, and just kind of what ends up happening is a mystery. Samuel L. Jackson is generally the lead role of this film, and it's the first time I've really seen him in a lead role in quite some time. He's mainly been kind of the background character, especially in the Marvel films. But seeing him just like stand out as this main character in this fantastic film, which I absolutely loved, especially in the second half of the 3-hour experience. It's just a fantastic film. It had me on the edge of my seat during the finale of the film, and yeah, I absolutely loved The Hateful Eight, and it's definitely my number 3 choice of the year.
Number 2 is I'm going to keep it short because you kind of covered it, but Star Wars. Star Wars, like you said, helped me get back into Star Wars. I bought the fucking comics again. I bought Kylo Ren's all over my work desk. It's a movie that, like you said, repeat viewing helps, and that's something different you don't expect. Once your expectations are either lower or higher, or you just forget about them, the movie is so much more enjoyable. I've seen it 3 times now. My wife's seen it 4. It's a movie that every time you see it, you love it more because it gives you something. You know, besides people saying it's the same old, the thing that I love about it, it gives you happiness. You watch this movie and you have a smile on your face. When I watch the prequels, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So, there's...
My number 2 choice is the film that was actually my number 1 choice of the summer, and it was in my number 1 spot for the majority of this year until very recently, and that is Inside Out. This is probably the best Pixar film that I've seen in quite some time. The way that it personifies emotions and just kind of gives them personalities and kind of shows generally why these different emotions are so important to a person's psyche, especially as a young person, just kind of growing up, and how sadness...
Especially a woman.
What?
Especially a woman.
You know. Especially sadness, just like being... something that society is just like, oh, don't be sad, you shouldn't be sad, blah, blah. In fact, sadness is basically how we learn to grieve, how we get over things, and sadness is a very important thing, which society today is trying to kind of shoo away in favor of joy. And, yeah, I don't know. Besides all that, I just absolutely fell in love with this film. I cried multiple times throughout it, and, yeah, Inside Out is one of my favorite films of the year, and probably one of my favorite films in the last couple of years, to be honest.
Okay, so my number 1, and this is a movie that, you know, it speaks to me. It speaks to me because it represents, like, hope in this world. It represents fighting back, and that's Fantastic Four. And I'll tell you why. I just want to see your face. Okay, no, seriously, it's Creed.
That's what I was thinking you were going to say.
You're like, what the fuck? No, Fantastic Four was a gigantic piece of shit. No, Creed was that movie where it took me back to the day when I was 7 years old, and my grandpa was like, you gotta watch this movie. I put on Rocky, and I was like, this man is cool. And I didn't really understand the story back then, but as I grew up, I obviously got more and more into it. And despite his sequels kind of sucking for the most part, except for Balboa and 2, Creed is for the generation what Rocky was for then. It gives you inspiration. It made me want to go and exercise for about 10 minutes And you want to do things more than ever. It made me want to go after my goal, because this is a guy who has everything in terms of money, but that's not what he wants in life. He wants respect. He wants his name. He wants to be loved, and all these things that we take for granted, he goes and tries to get, and using everything he has, and it's just inspirational, we'll put it lightly. But besides that, the fights were excellent, the acting was phenomenal, and the directing, whew, I can't wait for Black Panther. But yeah, just overall, Creed is like gotta be that movie where I'm gonna watch that shit. It comes out on Blu-ray. I'm watching it like 3-4 times every Thanksgiving, every Christmas. Think, don't eat that cake, but I'm gonna eat it and I'm gonna watch it again and feel bad.
I agree. Creed is a very good film. Did not make my list, but still very good
Holy
film.
Shit! I gotta watch your damn list. What's on that list?
So my number one movie of the year is probably one that not a lot of people have actually seen, because I think it's still in fairly limited release.
Can I guess?
So I am a fan of Shakespeare and have been for quite some time. I've read a lot of the plays throughout my time in high school, college, all that stuff. So when I saw that they were making a live-action version of Macbeth, I was very interested in it, because this is a play that I have not actually read. But being a fan of Shakespeare, I was curious. Michael Fassbender leads this movie, and he does a phenomenal job just showing the progression of a man who is simply a soldier and the leader of this army. And then he's told, hey, you're going to be king. But then this other guy, who's your friend, his children are going to lead and rule for many years to come. But he consumes him over time, just fighting this, like, basically fate. And I just absolutely love the film. It's all in Shakespearean language. They don't translate it or anything. And so you kind of have to be able to understand that stuff in order to appreciate it. When I saw it, I think at least 4 people walked out of the theater because they couldn't understand what was happening. But yeah,
that's a good sign.
Yeah, I know, right? But I absolutely loved it so much, and the final scene just left me jaw dropped at how fantastic it looked, and just the outcome of it, and was an experience unlike any other that I have had this year in regards to a film, and I cannot recommend it enough. So yeah, Macbeth, definitely my top film of the year for me.
I wasn't even going to guess that movie on your list, but all right. Well, that is the most different top 5 ever. None of ours match except for Star Wars. It just goes to show you Star Wars speaks to hearts. And yeah, so I would love to see your guys' views of what were 5 movies that you loved. You don't even have to list them in order. Just name a couple of movies that you really stuck with you after you watched it. List them below. We'd love to read them. And hopefully you enjoyed ours. If you didn't, I don't know what to tell you. If you didn't see our movies, go check them out, because now I'm actually going to go watch Macbeth. So there's something. And everybody have a wonderful day. I was going to say Happy New Year, but it's going to be way past Happy New Year.